But Mark, let's move on to the last team, and the other team in this, the Los Angeles Rams, receiving Sammy Watkins from the Bills, basically getting Watkins in a sixth, I believe, is what I said, from the Buffalo Bills. And basically this question is simple, and I'll kick it over to you first because I kind of started the Bills one off. What does Sammy Watkins mean for Jared Goff and the Rams?
Well, I mean, it can only be an improvement. Is really what it comes down to for me. I mean, you had probably the worst offense in the NFL last year, and there's a reason why there were coaching changes, and why there was a lot of dysfunction for the LA Rams last year. A 4-12 team being one of the worst passing attacks, one of the worst rushing attacks.
You're telling me you didn't enjoy 7-9 bullshit?
I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy 7-9 bullshit. There's a reason why bad things happen and why Jeff Fisher gets himself fired. When you are the team that can only throw for like 180 yards a game, can only score 14 points in a game, getting a guy like Sammy Watkins that has the potential to be explosive is great. Now, the problem is he ever going to be on the field? Who knows? But it's a one-year rental, essentially, to at least try and see, do you want anything different out of him? Do you want to keep him around? Do you at least have an idea of what you can go for? Because Rams traded big to get Jared Goff. And so far, it hasn't looked that great. I mean, they had a fun little tweet because we talked about a tweet in the last segment that Jared Goff threw 3 interceptions on Monday, but it could have been 5. And it's just like...
Monday being today as we're recording this?
Yeah, on Monday. And it's just one of those things of, and I don't want to overreact to practice.
We're not talking about practice.
But it just comes down to things are not looking that great in LA. So, got to try something, right? Got to give something a shot.
No, and you do. And the thing is, I look at this and... really, the LA Rams have done what they needed to say, okay, we're giving you weapons. Because at first it was just Tavon Austin. And let's be honest, Tavon Austin has been injured most years, so I know what you're thinking. So they took one injury-prone wide receiver and said, what's better than one? Let's have 2 injury-prone wide receivers.
At least one of them's bound to be on the field.
Or none of them on the field. They also have Robert Woods. So basically what they do is now they basically said, you know what, Jared, we're just going to give you the Buffalo Bills because it used to be Watkins and Woods on the side of one another. I know what you could be thinking. You could have said that from the good side, like, oh, these wide receivers know each other. Sammy Watkins can come in, knows the guys he's going to be on the other side of the field with Robert Woods signing in free agency. I like this move from a scheme fit, and I might be wrong here, but hear me out. You get Watkins on the outside. Of course, he needs to be healthy. You have Woods on the other outside. Now you allow Tavon Austin. Yes, you can have him on an outside. You can have him on an inside going on a vert. But now you allow Tavon Austin to really use one of his better speeds, or his better skills, which is speed, that I just kind of spoiled there. And you let him just play the slot. And you let him own the slot. And you let him own the slot. You can use him on reverses with fake or handoffs to the wide receiver. This could be good. The big question, though, is Tavon Austin going to stay healthy? Because I was looking at an article right here from Fansided and their Rambling Fan blog for the Rams, and they even are asking the question, could Tavon Austin miss the remainder of the preseason? And then you've got the Sammy Watkins where it's like, what could go wrong will go wrong. And will a new scenery keep him injury-free?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough. Injuries being the main concern. But that's why it is nice that you just kind of have him for the year. See what happens. If it doesn't work, whatever, is really what it's going to come down to. And then you're not really that worse off than you were before. You look at the draft in 2017 for the Rams. They didn't have a first-round pick, but second and third round, they're trying to address the offensive side of the ball. They even go back to get a second wide receiver in the 4th. So they're trying to do something. They're trying to get weapons. They're trying to make it work for this young quarterback who definitely needs something. because this offense does not have much to get that excited about. I mean, sure, you would assume that the running game should be fine because you invested in that, but you'd assume the quarterback position would be fine because you invested in that, and previously you invested in the wide receiver position. None of these things really seem to be making a difference on the field, even when Todd Gurley's case, and even Tavon Austin too, they're good players, but still not making an actual difference yet.
Yeah.
And really just leads you to believe that maybe there's more wrong with this team than just those players. And that's why you have a new coach, and that's why you're starting from the very beginning again.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the true indicator of let Sean McVay have his time in the sun, basically, and that's not a pun for L.A. It's basically you're having the quarterback stayed, the coach was gone. That's what Les Snead wanted, and that's what he got. Now you're bringing in McVay, and the big thing that I think this Sammy Watkins trade, how it affects the Rams, especially with this Tavon Austin situation, because there's a tweet here from Rich Hammond where he says, McVay said he expects Tavon Austin to miss another week of practice and left open possibility that Austin won't play the rest of the preseason. The thing that this Rambling Fan article then goes into is, and I'll read a quote here, whether Austin wants to admit it or not, missing all of this time away from practice and preseason games only hurts his role in McVay's offense. It's one thing for him to miss time in the offseason while recovering from a wrist surgery, but seeing him miss even more time over this hamstring is beyond frustrating for all parties. This trade could be, I know that I'm like, oh, this could be the positive side. He could be used in this role. But if he doesn't see the field in preseason, this could be the trade if Sammy Watkins is healthy. I keep having to put that asterisk out there. This could be the trade to push Tavon Austin to the side. Be like, nope, we've got our main two, and then Cooper Kupp, who is also right behind him, trying to get more playing time for himself. This trade could push Tavon to the side because there's no room for you in the starting lineup. There's no room out there.
We'll see what happens because I don't think Sammy Watkins has anything locked up. And he said it himself that's going to take him, maybe a week and a half to start to really get this offense. So he's not going to look like Sammy Watkins from the get-go. And he's saying it himself. So I'm not going to say for sure this is pushing anyone out the door.
I'm just saying it could.
Options.
I'm just saying it could. I'm not like, oh, I'm all on Sammy Watkins. But it could push him to the side, especially, like I said, let's be honest. Sammy Watkins, it could take you a week to get the offense, but take as much time, take as much of the preseason as you want, because right now Tavon Austin's not out there.
Yeah.
Tavon Austin's not out there to prove himself, and I'll ask you this. What are reasonable expectations for Sammy Watkins in year one with the Rams?
I mean, I don't necessarily know what reasonable expectations would be because this team's offense is one of the worst offenses in the NFL. At least last year it was. So, I mean, your expectations are really anything. Anything that helps us. Anything that can get us more than 14 points a game. That's really what it comes down to for me is this team's offense, this team's ability to score was absolutely terrible last year. And it shouldn't be because they've invested in this offense as much as pretty much any team in the NFL. So there's got to be something that picks them up.
Here's a question that I'm thinking of in my head, and it's basically because, yet again, I'm looking at an article now where with Watkins on board, Rams will finally know what they have in Goff. Let's say the end of the year, the Rams go, I don't know, something like 3 wins, and it's a dismal season for the Rams. Let's say they even go 4 or 5 wins. Still not a winning season. At the end of the year, if you have to look into your crystal ball, do you see more of the blame being put on Jared Goff or a Sammy Watkins? Because I can still see at the end of this year, I could still see a bad season from the Rams, and then Ram fans and Ram ownership going, no, Goff is fine. We just got to get him better. Like Sammy Watkins and Robert Woods weren't good enough. We upped it. We got better than Tavon Austin, but we still got to get better at that position. What do you see?
I don't think that the Rams are going to be quick to throw Jared Goff under the bus.
Because they traded so much to get him?
They traded so much to get him, and I think it's fair. He didn't have really much of a chance last year. He wasn't given an opportunity by the team. So essentially, this is still kind of a rookie year for him. And Sammy Watkins has a lot of skill, but he doesn't really stay on the field. So I don't really think he's going to have an opportunity to make things better. You're in a new offense, brand new offense here. There's a lot of change going on for the Rams, and there's going to be a lot of change over the next probably 2-3 years as well. I think Jared Goff is going to get some passes. Whether he deserves them or not is what you want to say, and you're going to probably say it in the comment section. Feel free. But I think he's going to get some passes no matter what happens.
Here's the thing that I'm thinking of, and this is a hypothetical. I don't want to piss off any Ram fans, so before I say anything, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just finding what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to read between the lines here and what could happen, and I want to see a little research really quick to see if it can pay off. So they were, if I'm looking at the draft, it doesn't have his draft here, does it? But the thing that I'm looking at is on the depth chart, quarterback-wise. Who's the guy right behind Jared Goff? Do you know off the top of your head?
Is it still Mannion?
It's still Mannion, who is quarterback from Oregon State. He was drafted in 2016, or 2015. Goff was 2016. Here's the thing that I think could be interesting and could be, would this play out in LA land? Think about another team that I know this is a year off in quarterbacks. They drafted 2 in the same year. What if Jared Goff, it just doesn't work and the Rams are left and we look at Goff as like the same mistake as, it's different than RG3 in the sense of RG3 got injured, and that's what derailed him. But could this be seen as that same thing? Like, man, the Rams gave up so much to get him, and it didn't work out. And wouldn't it be funny if that happened, Manning comes in and basically Kirk Cousins the situation?
It could be interesting. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, I haven't seen very much of the kid play, so I don't want to really say much of anything about him because I really don't know much about him. And I'm okay with admitting that I don't know much about the second-string quarterback on the LA Rams.
Because we know the third-stringer, Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, we know there's nothing coming out of him.
Yeah, he'll only do one thing, and that'll be run out of the back of the end zone. That's what he's good at.
But
good for safeties.
I feel like if this was a situation where this guy's eventually going to come up and take a job from Jared Goff has not looked good really at all so far in his NFL career. So if it was going to happen, there's a good chance it would have probably happened already.
No, yeah, and I mean the thing for the Rams,
just to add to that, I think the only thing I could see, I don't see that happening. I could potentially see a situation, like a Jimmy Clausen, a Mike Glennon type of situation of this team gets a first round pick again or first overall, second overall in the near future, and they're just going to say, yeah, all right, I know we spent a lot on you, but it's too late. We're going to spend a lot on the new guy.
Well, let me ask you this, because I don't want to give anything too far away, because next week is our official hold us to 'em predictions. And you know me, I like to tinker in the last week. I like to look at, and I just like
things change.
I like to over tinker in the last week. But as of right now, if I'm going through what draft pick the Rams would have, they would be 1, 2, 3. They would either be the 4th or the 5th pick, which is this year, let's be honest, could be prime quarterback number. With especially
you're all in about.
Darnold, Rosen's out there, Allen's out there, Mayfield's out there, Rudolph's out there. If they're a top 5 pick, I'll just leave it up to top 5. If they're a top 5 pick this year, do the Rams think about drafting a quarterback?
Depends what's there. Depends what's there and how they feel about these guys. I don't think that the Rams are.
If you're a fan, would you want them to think about it?
That depends how this offense plays. If this offense is still one of the worst offenses in the NFL, then yeah, of course you do. I mean, that's the hard thing with the Rams. They were so bad last year that they're almost impossible to say anything in the future about because it has to get better, right? Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't, then, I mean, it's a clear cut, yeah, let's make some changes. Things went wrong.
Because the draft picks that they have this year is, as of right now, they have their first rounder still. They do not have a second rounder now because they sent that to Buffalo for Sammy Watkins. They have a third, a fourth, a fifth, three sixes because they've got the Bills, the Lions, and their own sixth and a seventh. So they have now lost their second rounder coming into 2018's draft. So I look at it and I go, you know how we talked about, hey, this could be a contract year for Tyrod Taylor with the Bills? This isn't a contract year for Jared Goff, but this is the year where it's like, hey, kid, we're giving you a new head coach. We're giving you a guy that we think can work well with you. We're also giving you a nice shine. We brought in Robert Woods, who wasn't the shiniest of new weapons, but he could work. We're now giving you a guy who potentially could be a true, like, and when I say potentially true number one, I'm not trying to slap Sammy Watkins in the face. I'm just saying with the injury,
He's got to be healthy, yeah.
He's got to be healthy. Could be a true number one for this team. This could be the year where it's like, hey, dude, I know you're a sophomore. Put up or shut up.
No, it's not. It's not that time yet. I mean, we're going to want to say it probably in media world, and a lot of fans are going to want to say it, but when you invest that much in a quarterback and you make all these changes early the team was pretty devoid of a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, no, it's not time yet.
And when I say put up or shut up, I'm not saying like if you fail, then you're off the team. When I say put up or shut up, if I'm a Rams fan, I'm going into the season, if you have a healthy Sammy Watkins, I'm looking at it and go, if I can be as excited in Jared Goff as Bear fans are as excited in Mitch Trubisky after one preseason game, if I can have that same excitement, like this team can go 3-13, but if I have that same excitement that Bear fans have, that you have right now after watching Mitch play one preseason game, which I believe you lost that game, right?
Yep.
Did they lose?
They lost.
You lost the game, but still that excitement. If I can feel that after this season, it's a win. That's what I want to see from Jared Goff. I want to see the excitement at the end of this year and be excited for you heading into 2018, where in the first round, we're not thinking about getting a quarterback. We're thinking about which wide receiver are we going to grab to give you another weapon.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, I mean, that's kind of what you would want for being a fan. I just want to pump the brakes on anybody who's going to try and put too much pressure on Jared Goff right now because, like I said, this is essentially his rookie year.
His true rookie year?
Yeah, he's got a brand new coach. He barely had an opportunity to do anything last year. There's a lot of new things going on in L.A., and there's going to be a lot of new things going on in L.A. next year and the year after that as well.
Plus, I mean, you've got to basically you've got to win more games than the Chargers. That's your goal. That's in my mind.
To win L.A.
To win L.A. You got to win L.A. right now because.
Well, fortunately, you got an advantage because nobody wants the L.A. Chargers to be there.
Because I know that if whichever team is doing better, that's where more people are going to flock. I mean, you made a Cubs reference earlier in the podcast. I'll make one now. We've seen it in Chicago when we were in high school. When it was 2005, right? That was when the White Sox won the World Series.
Yep.
When it was around that time, a ton of Sox jerseys, tons of them. Now we're looking now.
I disagree.
I'm just saying, how many Cub jerseys do you?
The Cubs have always been more popular than the White Sox. They always will be.
More popular in the sense of like non-baseball. I'm talking about like I always saw in 2005. It was like when I saw.
You
a
live
Cub
on the
fan,
south side though.
I know, but now it's like I fucking see Cub shirts all over, and it's like you were a Sox fan 2 years ago. What are you doing?
Definitely had the bandwagon fans. Yeah, and the bandwagon fans are always going to switch back.
That's what I'm talking about. Whichever team is like those fans. I'm not talking to diehards. The diehards.
I'm not saying the diehards either.
I'm saying that middle ground is going to.
The Chicago
sway.
Cubs have always been a team where it's popular to be a Chicago Cubs fan. It will always be popular. They were shitty for 108 years, and it was popular to be a Cubs fan.
Prime example. LA fans may know this well. It's kind of like how we joke about the Clippers and the Lakers in LA, how LA will always be a Laker town. And yeah, you have that Clipper jersey right now, but you're stroking it like this because you know it's reversible and that Laker jersey's underneath.
Yeah.
You're just waiting to
Still
flip
got
it.
that Kobe, still got that Kobe jersey in the closet, waiting to pull it out.
You're just waiting to flip it inside out.
I honestly don't necessarily think that. I don't think the LA Chargers are ever going to win LA.
No,
I really don't.
There's more diehard Ram fans from the old days.
I think they're going to be actually a pretty comparable situation to Cubs Sox here in Chicago. Of the Cubs and the Rams are always going to be the two teams that people are going to like. Now the Rams don't quite have the same advantage that the Cubs have,
but they have the following that they built when they used to be in LA.
Yeah, exactly.
They used
so
to
it's
be
kind of an
in the
unfair
town.
advantage in that case. And then they were the first ones to come back.
Yeah.
That certainly helps too. And them leaving St. Louis had a lot less negative press, negative PR than San Diego getting up and abandoning. You can tell in the way I say it, getting up and abandoning their loyal fans.
Well, it's like, we got to comment on one of your Charger predictions where it was like, you know what, great preview, but I had to downvote because fuck the Chargers.
And I get it. I respect it.
But this is where you guys come in. Let us know down below what you guys think. What does Sammy Watkins mean for Jared Goff and the Rams? And let us know what you think about anything we talked about today. We are done with the fast break. Next week, Mark, what are we doing? What are we doing next week?
Well, here on the Onside Kick,
Yes.
we're going to be doing our predictions.
Or hold them to them. Hold us to them.
As long as some catastrophic injury doesn't happen, like last year, where we had to hold us to... Wait, hold on, let's change it. Now hold us to it.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Basically, let's hope that Ryan Tannehill's the last one to fall.
But let's be honest.
He's the only one to fall.
When it really comes down to it, week one, everything changes anyways.
Yeah, week one, everything does change. But we will have our official season predictions next week for you guys.
The only thing I do think, though, doesn't it make more sense? And we're just going to do this on the year, because why the hell not?
Go ahead.
Doesn't it make more sense to do it after week 3? Just in case a Deshaun Watson gets that starting job or something like that?
No.
I think it makes more sense.
The only reason why I say no is it's the same reason why, because Colin Cowherd does it a step above us. He calls them the preseason rankings. Basically, I have not seen anybody play. These are my predictions. I'm not going that crazy because I need to see a little bit of preseason.
That's just silly.
He goes, don't want to see anyone play. Preseason comes out before you play a preseason game. These are my predictions.
Yeah.
I think you got to do it before week 1. You got to do it before week 1.
I didn't say you're not. I'm saying do it after week 3 before week 1. Do it in week 4 of the preseason.
Oh, I thought you were saying week 3 of the regular season.
No, that's silly. That's silly as well.
Okay.
Yeah, do it. We're currently slated to do it week 2. Maybe I'm saying we push it back a week to week 3.
Let's be honest. There's a little the YouTube and there's a little view counter thing that really puts it in. We got to have it up so these guys can see it. Give them enough time to digest it.
I just think that you guys let us know down below. You can help Ricky and I decide this debate if you would like, even though, Ricky's probably going to do what Ricky wants to do.
We're doing it next week.
Don't you agree with me?
Okay.
That it makes more sense to do a hold us to them after week 3 when most people win their starting jobs? Doesn't that make more sense? We're probably not going to do it that way.
We're not. We're doing it next week.
But doesn't it make more sense? Just let me know that I'm right and Ricky's wrong, and that's all that matters.
We're doing them next week. We will have our official predictions next week for you guys. Thank you guys for
Mine's
listening.
going to have an asterisk next to it.
You noticed in your Bear prediction I did that. Next to the Packers, I put an asterisk because you said put an asterisk next to it because you could win the home game with the Trubisky.
If he plays, I mean, he's the GOAT, so it's already been decided.
Let us know.
Tom Brady won it and lost it as soon as the preseason started.
Let us know what you guys think down below. I want to thank you guys for either watching on YouTube or listening on Blog Talk Radio and anywhere you can find podcasts on the web. Thank you guys, and as always, have a good day, everybody.